everybody. I'm Denise Smith of Our Metaverse. Our Metaverse is a community coming together to try to develop a true, real, spontaneous compassion for our life, for other people's life, and to feel what they might feel, to relate to them, to help them not feel so alone, for us not to feel alone, and for us to all feel a little bit more normal, a little bit part of community, and a little bit more like we truly, truly belong. So thank you for being here. Everything we do is by donation. If anybody would like to donate, please consider that at the end of the YouTube video, there will be places to donate that you can see there. And I appreciate you being here today. Today, we are talking about the subject of relationships. And when I say that word, I'm just wondering what happens to come to mind for any of you.
Well, the word connection and all different types of relationships, friendships and love, marriages and, family dynamics. And a lot of that comes to my mind.
How
Yeah.
about you, Caroline?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
It's like when I think of relationships, I'm coming off this phone call from this, woman whose husband was extremely narcissistic and abusive. And so you've got some relationships that are not that great. And then you've got other relationships that, are truly loving, caring, the way relationships should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Nurturing.
So I'll take a hike before I've spent 30 years with somebody.
We had a story
Exactly.
shared that I may as well share again now that we're recording that we talked about. This was from Venerable Robina Courtine, who will be with us April 9th coming up to talk about the 12, I think it's called the 12 points of dependent origination, how things cause something else to arise. It's a great subject. Anyways, I was telling a story about how there was somebody that she shares. It goes something like there's a woman who lives in a cul-de-sac and she comes out and she's yelling, that's right, I killed him, I killed my husband, I stabbed him however many times, and he's dead, and he was mean for this long, blah, blah, blah. And she uses that story to say how strong attachment truly is. Like, we are so attached to having somebody in our life that we deal with it until we just want to kill them, and sometimes kill them, rather than walking out the door and then meeting one of the other 8 billion people in the world. Like, there is something else out there, right? But we get attached to certain situations, we get attached to our relationships, and we don't know it. Karuna always says we don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
We don't realize that we are attached to that. We don't realize there's like this other thing that is being satisfied by having somebody there. We're just focusing on something else. So that's what we do with this community in our metaverse, is we try to wake up a little bit at a time to say, could it be that there is a different perspective to see things in? And if I saw something from a different perspective, what would it change? One of the things we talk about in here a lot is never to take anything that any teacher offers as that is just right. Like, question it, test it, see if it's right for you. And then if it is right, then it's like, oh, wait a minute, what would be different if I did this differently? What would be different if I saw that differently? The Dalai Lama, I didn't get a quote, I should have put a quote in here, talks about the one thing we can change is our perspective. And if we change our perspective, maybe there's a different outcome. Maybe there's a different feeling, emotion. Maybe there's, right? All right, so let's get into this, because there's a lot to think about when it comes to relationships. And I do want to share my screen. Can you see that? So I'm calling this on purpose,
Oh, wow.
relationships, a different perspective.
Hmm.
Okay. Because I want to just keep focusing on that. Where we hold any control is our perspective. So understanding how we relate to the world is kind of where I'm going with this a little bit tonight. Actually, we can think about when we hear the word relationship, what comes to mind a little bit more, but let's just take 1 second to set our intention and our motivation for being here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it our intention to wake up and try to see things more clearly potentially? Is our intention to share in community and be together and make our own self feel a little bit better and accepted and belong to something? What's our intention and motivation for being here tonight? Just set your own in your own mind. It's my intention to bring a new point of view regarding the idea of relationship tonight and to add some empowering thoughts around them. So when you hear the word relationship, Marie, you were sharing already that you were thinking love relationship, family dynamic relationships. Caroline was thinking that there's relationships that are kind and ones that are not so kind.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, are you able
Let's
to
just say
share?
healthy and not so healthy.
Healthy and not so healthy. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking kind of what Marie said, just all different types of relationships, and like how different those relationships can be just because of like who, like a grandma relationship is so much different than like, a guy who is your age or something like that.
Totally.
Mhm.
Totally. All right. So let's look at a definition of relationship. The word relationship
Relaxation.
Hmm.
is derived from relation. It's rooted in relatio, meaning a bringing back. To me, I read that as a repetition also. Like if I hadn't had any experience of this before, how could I relate to it? But if I had, then now I'm relating it back to something before, is what I'm getting with that, bringing back. I don't know. Or a connection. To describe interpersonal or abstract connections. I think those are key words right there. Interpersonal or abstract. What if it's not an interpersonal relationship?
Hmm.
So, exploring relationships, we're going to think about what relationships do we have? And I'd like you guys to just pop off a couple, 2 or 3 relationships that you have on your own. Come to your mind.
Well, this is going to sound funny, but when you said abstract relationships, I was thinking, well, I have a relationship with coffee and like
Yes,
donuts, you know what I mean? Like a relational, like it's not a person, it's actual,
absolutely.
but I have a relationship with certain foods and I have a relationship with coffee because I like caffeine. And so there's these things, and those could also be addictions, but I do have a relationship with them that I enjoy. And
Yes,
and so that's what came to mind when you said abstract, and it wasn't interpersonal, and
yes,
so
yes,
that's what I
yes,
was
yes,
thinking,
yes.
like, yeah, so that's what came to my mind. So that, and then of course I'm always thinking about my friendships because I have so many wonderful friends and I really value that, and that's very different from my relationships with my daughters and my husband and even my own mother and all of those things. So there's so many different, and I'm pretty much attached to all of them, so I can't say that. I got to work on that. Guys can't help it, but yeah, I got to work on that. But I did see so many different styles and types of relationships that are important, and then there's also just so much diversity in them. There's a lot of that.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Caroline?
I, on the abstract, I too am like Marie. I first thing in the morning, I have to have my cup of coffee, and if it's not coffee, it's chocolate. So the two C's are very
Yeah.
important to me. Uh, but we do. I mean, we are our relationships are multi-layered, right?
Mhm.
And each one has its own richness,
Mhm.
Yes.
and I think, I have friends that have, okay, I'm gonna tell you a story.
Yes.
So this past, when was it? Friday night, a girl, now a grown-ass woman like me, showed up at my front door, and she grew up on down the street from me, and she came to let me know that her mom had just passed away,
Mm.
and she wanted me to make sure that I came to her mom's funeral. And, of course, she came in, and 4 hours later, we're still talking, and those roots that you have from childhood, you
Mhm.
know, they just don't go away. And she kept apologizing for not having been keeping in touch as much. And I'm like, Jill, I would see you, whenever I drove by your house, I saw you were taking care of your mom. You saw me taking care of my dad. We were both caretakers, plus we're both working, have full lives. She has two kids. And then of course she has a cat that just also died a week ago, and I've got two
Mhm.
cats, and so my two cats were giving her lots of love, and so, that relationship, I think at first she was thinking, is it really still there? And she's like, oh my God, it's really still there, and I go, now we just have time to come back together again because,
Yes.
some of those other things that keep us busy, have now vacated, but it was still, it was really beautiful, right?
Nice.
And then we also have our family relationships and, our newer friend relationships. And I really believe that, people come into our lives to help us at times, at different times, right? Some people come and stay for a while. Some people come when you're a kid and then they're gone for 30 years, but then
Yeah.
guess what? We come
Yeah.
back together again,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yep.
know? And sometimes we have people that show up on our doorstep with a deli bag full of food that's going to last you 3 days, So those are all things that really, are amazing,
Yeah.
and those are all gifts.
Total. Very good.
And they're not, and I didn't expect to see Denise at my door or Jill at my door, but they all came when I needed them.
Mm. We'll come again.
Amen. But chocolate. Um,
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Noted. I
Nathan,
agree.
can you think of some relationships you have? And now, Nathan, I'm inviting you to go everywhere with this.
wow.
Oh, I hope he's coming back
Nathan.
on. Maybe we'll get him. That's all right. I'm going to share again. All right. So, what relationships or connections do we have, right? What we're doing now is we're becoming aware of what happens when we hear the word relationship. Where does our mind go with that? Okay. So, we're noticing. If we were sitting in meditation and I said, I'm going to bring up a word and I want you to watch where your mind goes with it, the word is relationship. And you would envision all these things like you're just talking about right now, right? So this is like an out loud meditation that we're doing. Okay. So our relationships carry a charge in them. We call it an energy. And there are different levels of relationship. Can you guys think of any neutral ones? I have an example coming in the next slide, but how about a neutral relationship to something like this?
Mailman. They come every day and drop things off and leave again.
Who?
The mailman.
Mailman. Yeah. Okay. It's there. I do have a relationship with him. It's not that charged. It's not that charged with
Nope.
energy.
Nope.
Right. Any other neutral relationships you guys can think of? How about a relationship to art?
Oh,
Wouldn't have thought that right off the bat, huh?
Mhm. Well, I guess some art pieces can be neutral for you if you don't um have any kind of sorry, I can't the word's not coming to me.
Emotionally charged
Yeah, or
connection.
yeah, resonation with it is what I
Oh,
was trying to like. You don't resonate.
yeah.
Some pieces of art you look at and you go, and it like touches your soul, and you can
Yep.
wow. And then other things are just sort of like, oh well, and I'm not getting a charge, like you said, I'm not getting a charge from that. So that makes sense to me. Like
Right.
certain things can.
Sometimes now it's funny to do these because it's like, well, neutral unless, and then there's the potential for a lot of charge, even in art,
Sure.
right? Even in a car,
Hmm.
right? I love reading stuff on the Dharma, like, don't take my Dharma away. I wouldn't call that totally neutral. There's fairly neutral relationships. Okay, so a neutral energetic charge towards something or someone. Now, how about a lightly charged relationship?
Charged. Hmm.
Something where you go, my relationship between like bird seed, I'm looking out my window. Pretty neutral. Pretty neutral, right? My relationship to how about your relationship to an heirloom piece of jewelry someone gave you?
Majorly charged.
Charged,
Sometimes it
right?
can be more than lightly, yeah. It could be
Right?
majorly,
That's
yeah.
more
It
than
could,
lightly.
yeah.
I'll like
Definitely.
wear my mother or grandmother or grandfather's rings, and I'm like, I feel their energy.
Oh,
Yes.
Like
yeah.
today, I need this person's energy. Another
Yes.
day, it's like my great grandmother. She lost her husband in World War I, and she was 21 years old and had two little girls she had to raise on her own.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, the fact that she even survived, and that this generation is here, I think is a miracle. So sometimes when it's like, okay, I need the powerful woman's energy.
Yes. 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 Okay. So does it feel like what we relate to, what we have relationship is expanding a little bit?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wait, like our awareness of what we are in relationship with does it feel like that's expanding a little bit
Hmm.
Yeah, beyond just people.
beyond people?
Yeah.
We do think people right off the bat, but it's
Yes.
more
Hmm.
than people.
Hmm.
Okay. So if we're lightly charged, I got to charge with food for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Not sure how light it is.
Yeah.
I keep trying to. It's okay. We're just here to try to nurture. Do we have a relationship with exercise?
Some of us need to have a relationship with exercise.
Some of us need to have a relationship with
I
exercise.
do. I got
Yeah.
pretty charged this morning. I went to a really great workout class and I was sweating it up and I was charged. It was awesome.
Nice.
Amazing.
That's good. Yeah.
Nice. Any relationship with alcohol can carry a charge in it.
Yeah, well, it might even still for me. I don't use it anymore, but there is still so I don't have a really relationship, but I do still have sort of a relationship of awareness that I don't want it in my life, and so there are something there
That's
still.
still called relationship.
Yeah, so I have a relationship with it that's maybe a little bit negative, but I also don't feel I almost feel neutral with it now, which is really great to be in that space,
Yes.
that position.
Yes.
However, there's part of me that's very cautious not to slip or to think that I'm that I've mastered it, like you don't
Yeah.
want to let yourself think that because it's a very sneaky type of addiction, and so
Yeah.
you really have to be on top of it, even if you think you're good and you are good. There's always that you just got to keep on, keep
Yeah.
putting it in its place and knowing where it belongs in your life.
Right. So who wrote Eat, Pray, Love? Elizabeth,
Well, yeah, that's right.
right? She
That's a great
says
movie.
like you get the relationship with certain things where maybe you have a relationship with them where you decide, you can be in the van of relationships with me, but you are going to be in the back seat in a seatbelt. And I'm going to be driving the
I'm
van.
the driver, yeah. I'm in charge, yeah.
So you're all right, alcohol. You can be here, but you're going to be in the back seat and a seatbelt's all good.
Yes.
Right? All right. Now, when I did my 2-year mindful meditation certification course, these came up as the most charged. You ready? Money.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Our relationship to money.
Yep.
We don't necessarily have these open places to talk about what our relationship to money is.
Mhm.
Marie, do you want to talk about that course you took at all that was like learning your relationship on money? Maybe not your personal
Yeah.
experience, but what they
Yeah.
brought?
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, but I was just thinking about that as you mentioned it because they did ask some really interesting questions. And there was when I first was taking it with this gal, she gave me a list of questions and it asked about what were you told as a child as a child about money, and what did what do you think now growing up? And so I can't remember the exact questions, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was like when you encountered someone that was a rich person, how do you feel about them? And I wrote weird stuff that I didn't even know that I
Mm.
wrote entitled and selfish and all these things that I think my parents taught me and that
Mhm.
they were something whatever. I mean, these things are I was thinking, well, where did that come from? I didn't even know that I thought that.
Right.
I had to write it down. I wrote it down and I went, "Oh my gosh. This is how I actually feel." Like I was stunned. I didn't even know myself, right? I was just like, "Whoa." And so a lot of it's learned. Um, you know
Yeah.
so that's my mom was always very much like, oh, if people are extremely wealthy they got there in a way that was not
Honest.
out of integrity or something like that, so that I was brought up to I learned that, but that's not always true. It can be true, but it's not entirely true, so I had to
99.999% of the time. No,
I had to
I have no
reframe.
bias at all.
Yeah, I had to reframe that a little bit so that because part of it was your potential to earn. I wanted to earn some money, but I didn't want to become that person because I was taught that that was a person that was a bad person.
Yes.
So I had to relearn, and I still struggle with it, but
This super, super heated subject.
right, because I did so you kind of cap yourself on making a certain amount of money, not knowingly. It's your limited belief in that because you think I don't want to become that person that everybody looks at like that. Why would I want to make all that money? You
Yeah.
say to yourself,
Yeah.
I want to be rich. I would love to have all that money. But your actual being and your actual subconscious does not say that same thing, because that's not what you are holding on to and what you've been taught. So it is kind of a limiting belief when you grow up looking at it like that, because there are people that do make a lot of money and that are good people and that can use it wisely. I
Yeah.
know that there's a lot of people that do not though.
Would you
So
agree it's not a neutral subject?
I would agree.
Definitely a hot subject. Hot potato, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And out of the heated subjects, that's like the least heated.
Well, sometimes money and power go hand in hand.
Yeah, yes,
Right?
very much true. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These ones, like, we had a 2-year course, and these were not mentioned until like month 47.
Wow.
It's like, whoa, we had to learn how to talk about emotions. We had to learn how to experience them with each other. We had to learn how to bring up an emotion and decide how to handle it. And none of these were even brought up until like month 47 and 48.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, who would have thought in the very beginning of this class when I said, what comes up to you when I think of relationship? I have a relationship with death. That's my first relation,
Yeah, that wasn't my first thought, but
right?
no.
Well, we all have a relationship with death.
Mhm.
We all relate. Okay, here, this is going to come around. You ready? All right. So that charge can be called attachment,
Ah, mhm.
Interesting.
right? Tell me
Right.
what your aha was, Caroline.
The fact is, well, I think I told you this. It's like, everybody is so hung up on death and dying,
Mm.
and the Germans have a saying that, your last shirt has no pockets.
I loved that thing.
So it's like everybody's like so trying to hang on to everything. And I remember my dad, I would like book him on a flight to Germany, in business class, and he's like, Caroline, what, that's too much money. I'm like, dude, you've broken two hips, you've earned the money, you deserve to spend it on yourself because you can't take it with you.
Mhm.
Have fun.
Yeah.
You've given us the education, the tools, everything we need, and if we can't figure it out, that's on us. You deserve to enjoy, so I felt no guilt spending his money and shipping him
Tell me
on
your
his trips.
aha on the attachment word.
Well, because it's like we are so fixated by it, right? We're so attached to it, but the fact is, none of us can escape it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Unless you're Buddhist and you're going to be reincarnated.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come
Escape
back
it
up and
either.
try it all over again.
All right. So, whoops. Now, good.
But my question is, in Buddhism, if you have that attachment, when you come back for the next life, do you still keep that attachment, or is the goal to learn from that attachment?
Yeah. Great question.
Yeah.
Right? I believe that your karma keeps relating to however you're relating to things in this life when you get into your next life until you figure out how to change that relationship.
Do we have that aha moment?
Till we get to the more healthy relationship with whatever that is. And then our actions create new karma and we get a new relationship with it again. That's what works for me right now. So, event. Let's do an example. You just got laid off. Who do you call?
Yeah, all your friends that you used to work with say, hey, you hiring?
There you go. Right?
Or I call Marie and I say, Marie, I really need that drink now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk you out of it, Caroline. I'll be like, no, you don't. Just talk to me. You don't
No,
need
you
a drink.
don't.
But
Push
yeah,
yourself away
yeah,
from the bar.
that's my job to talk you out of it. Talk me off the ledge, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we can ask ourselves when something happens, what do I need right now?
Mm.
I just got laid off. Who am I going to call?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
We might instinctually just want to just and freak out. So we're going to call somebody if we want to freak out. Air out. Complain. Right?
Yeah.
Well, if we say, oh my God, I want to be held up right now, we're going to call somebody else. So there's this point between being laid off and picking up the phone where if we can stop ourselves, we can say, what do I need right now? And then hopefully we have a resource to relate to who can help give us what we need right now. So what kind of relationship would support what we need right now?
Well,
I just got the phone. Go ahead.
I was going to say a spouse or a good friend,
Right?
Yeah.
What if we don't have a spouse?
Yeah, then a close friend or sibling or someone you're close to, whether
Right.
it be,
So somebody we're close to so that they can
Us.
what?
hear us.
Comfort us.
Comfort us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we would, I need comfort. What do I need right now? I need comfort.
Yes. And to know that this is the best thing that ever happened to you because you've been at that long job for far too long and you should have walked away years ago.
There you go. Yeah.
right? What kind of relationship would support comfort in a moment where I just heard I got laid off? And we try to think about it, and then we try to call that person that might be able to give us that need.
Mhm.
If we are aware.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
If we're not aware, we might just repeat something that wasn't healthy when we pick up the phone and call somebody. And
Mm.
the relationship that we choose reflects how we want to relate to that moment. This is, of course,
Good. I like that one.
this is more in our adult life, right? When we're
Mm-hmm.
6, we're not as good at choosing. We are dependent on what is there. But as an adult, we can say, how do I want to relate to this moment of being laid off? Do I want to stay strong through this? Do I want to crumble through this? Do I want to just get a better job and tell everybody, look at me now? How do I want to relate to that moment? Make sense?
Mm.
That relationship that we choose is the reflection of that answer. What do I need right now?
Mm.
Who you call depends on what you're seeking.
Mhm.
But if you don't even know your habits are unhealthy, you might seek something unhealthy.
Mhm.
If we can wake up to these moments where next thing you know, somebody calls us and they give us some news, we go, all right, I got a choice now. Instead of reacting in that moment. Once again, between, what is it? What's the Viktor Frankl? Between,
Einstein?
between,
Response. Oh, between something in response, right? Like, oh, it's the pause, the
between
great
action and
pause.
response, there's a
Yeah,
pause, and in that pause, there's choice, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah. So it's that pause. If we pause and go, oh, and so our body can tell us, whoa, something really charged is going on right here. We can also say, I'm attached to something right now. Is it healthy or not? We can go that route with it. Or we can say, what do I need right now? I'm really energetically filled up. What do I need right now? What do I need right now that can comfort that a little bit, make that more bearable?
Mhm.
Maybe we need support. Maybe we need clarity. Maybe we need encouragement. Maybe we need understanding. Okay. The more conscious we become of why we choose certain relationships, the more we can begin to nurture our needs with intention. This is deep stuff, you guys. This is like, why do I choose to have this certain relationship with my phone at 6 o'clock in the morning? What do I need right now?
Mm.
I need to check what my friend is doing. I can only do that with my phone. Okay. What is that creating right now? I have a relationship with my phone. Now I have a relationship with my friend. I also, this is not in this slideshow, I also have a relationship with my needs.
Mhm.
Do I have a healthy relationship with my needs?
Mm.
Not a lot of people say, oh, totally on that one.
Mhm.
So instead of reacting automatically, we begin to connect with awareness. We now have a relationship with awareness too. Whoa. Who would have thought that when we say, what is a relationship? That now we're talking about it with my phone, with my friends, with myself, with my awareness, with my needs with so many things. There is relationship. So we create them. Our actions create these relationships. We have much power in these relationships, not just the people.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
relate to everything. You can close your eyes if you want to and try to think of something that you don't relate to at all. Another way to consider this is between you and something else. Is there anything you can think of that has absolutely no story in your mind? I was even just looking down. I have a post-it note on my computer right here. Is there a relationship between me and this post-it note?
Depends on if you have something written on it.
Right? And I have all fishing sponsors for my son on here. But so there are so many relationships between me and that post-it note. One side of me is going, oh, that's what I make really small origami with when there's nothing else to do. When I was volunteering at the senior center, I used to make these little hearts and stick them all over origami when I was just bored at the front desk. Right? It's like you make the little notepads that spin around on your desk
Yeah,
with all the
those are
different
cool.
colors, right?
Mhm.
Like, is there anything that you can think of that between you and that thing, there is no story whatsoever?
Mhm.
I can't think of anything.
I don't know somebody who can.
I mean, even the stupid pen that I'm holding, it gives me joy because it's very nice and easy and it's great to take quick notes. And, clearly I'm taking notes, but I'm like, I've got a relationship with a pen.
Who would have thought?
Exactly.
This isn't in the slideshow either, but can you imagine that, like, I have a feather in front. Between me and the feather, there's a certain relationship. Between me and the post-it note, there's a certain relationship. Between me and my diffuser, there's a certain relationship. Between me and my calendar, there's a certain relationship, right? Could you imagine that if we got familiar with our relationship with everything out there and we asked ourselves, how do I relate to that? 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 That you can start forming an understanding of what you bring to the world. That's your story. Does somebody else see my Native American woman healer calendar the same way I do?
Mhm.
That's my story that I bring to that. That's my story that I bring to that post-it note. That's my story that I bring to that feather. So I'm going to invite you guys after class tomorrow, whenever works for you, to just go, all right, what could possibly be around me or in me that I'm relating to right now? That there's a connection, that there's an energy that happens. Is it neutral? Is it charged? Is it supercharged?
Mhm.
Right? And just start noticing your own relationship. I like to call it story. Sometimes that works for me. Like, what's my story between this and that? Now, this this class does, we did Karuna. I don't know if you guys got to be for both of them. We did Karuna on emptiness for 2 classes. Then we did a class on what you record, you project on the next class.
I missed that one. Yeah.
It is online already
Okay.
on YouTube. And then this class goes with those kind of consecutively, where you're going, okay, wait a second. How do I relate to these things? What is my story between me and that thing? And if that's my story, but it's not somebody else's story, then is it true and factual and exact that that thing exists that way? Is the fact that it exists that way and I see it negatively coming from that, or is it coming from this?
For your filter.
Okay. We got a lot more slides, so I'm going to keep going. We relate to our thoughts. How many times have we meditated and then judged our own meditation?
Yeah.
So here we had a thought and then we related to our thought. We relate to our emotions. Sadness arises in us, and now we have a story about our sadness. Who would have thought, like, oh, when somebody says relationship, I consider how I relate to my emotions. Like, it's not really taught that. How about our relationship with our body? That's pretty charged one. That might go in with the money and everything else one. We relate to the environment. We relate to this moment. Most of us wanting to get away from it, thinking about the future or the past, but not just being here and being okay with it for some reason. So the seeds that we plant, the actions that we do, create what grows. I'm pausing. Did you guys see the screen share pause or the recording pause?
What?
I don't think I saw either one.
I didn't see anything.
I put a pause on, but I was going to put a pause. Hang on, your screen sharing is paused. Hold on. I was going to try to give Auntie a quick break. Sorry, Auntie, I don't know how to make it break. Hang on. I don't know how to do a break right now for you. I'm sorry.
You don't have to do a break for me.
All right.
Aw,
So look at this.
that's a good one.
Come on, rock. This is equivalent to saying, I want the world to be a good place while I keep thinking horrible thoughts.
Yes.
That's like watering a flat rock, right? And trying to grow a flower.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. I planted seeds of peace. Right? What we plant
Yep.
is what grows. Is there Nathan's coming back. Is there any part of you that when you like look at the 2 slides before this, I'm gonna see if I can go back. Right? Where you go, that resonates as a truth with me. I cannot grow a flower from a rock. That resonates as fair to assume it's a truth. Right?
Yes.
And is there any part of you that can look at this and say, that kind of resonates with me as a truth also? Like, as I'm choosing to be an army person at war, if I plant a seed of peace right in the middle of that, I probably won't grow peace.
Was I'm dropping bombs all the way around me.
Right.
Yeah.
So if those 2 images can resonate with you somehow as a truth, then this image, hopefully what we're going for here is a felt understanding of this. Like, hang on one second. and I'm going to put this into here right now. If we know that what we plant grows, and we watch a situation in our life continue to be difficult, would it make sense to ask ourselves, what am I planting?
Mhm.
Right? What we do is we go, look at what that person's causing. But that's this key point to say, what am I planting? Do I have any role in what I'm witnessing? Is that feather truly the way that I see it? Is that calendar truly the way that I see it? Or could it possibly be a million things to a million people? Okay. Well, so which one of these is the seed?
Ooh. All of them?
First, there's an event, and then there's a relationship to it. I saw a post-it note. I have a relationship with the post-it note. I have an experience about that relationship. Which one is the seed?
Probably the experience, right?
It's so tricky. This
Yeah,
part is like,
I'm thinking relationship.
tell me why.
You're thinking what, Ethan?
Relationship.
Tell me your
Oh.
logic.
Okay, I think I get now.
Because it's like that's what is planted, I think. Because like the event could happen and the relationship is whether it gets planted bad or good.
It's what changes it. Like the
Ooh.
I
relationship
think,
can
yeah.
change, right?
So one person's walking along on a trail and they see a rock. And their relationship to that rock is, damn, this rock, who put that there? Why do they put that there for me? I can't stand it. Now I got to walk around a rock.
Like Caroline, she falls over the rock.
Okay. Then the next person comes along and they see a rock in the middle of the road and they're like, oh man, this might get somebody tripped up. I better move it. And they grab the rock and they put it over to the side of the road. And then the next person comes in and the next person sees the rock in the middle of the road and they say, wow, thank you, rock. Thank you, because I was totally unconscious of how grateful I am of how smooth the rest of this road has been the whole time. Thank you for being here to point that out to me.
So that's kind of perspective in a way, right? Looking at it from a completely different way.
The event was the same.
Yeah.
3 people walked down a road and found a rock,
Mm.
but they related to it differently.
Mhm.
And therefore, they all 3 had a different experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking about experience. I was thinking sometimes it feels like you could choose your experience. You know what I mean? So I felt like both in the relationship part and the experience part, you can sometimes choose like how you see it or feel, you know? And so I thought maybe those were both like a little bit transfer, you know, you could do it different ways or something
I
like
think,
you
well, and I do think there is
could experience it
which
something
comes
different.
first?
Yeah, yeah.
Is my previous experience with a rock creating the relationship I have with it now,
Oh, right.
which therefore is creating the relationship I'm going to experience in 1 second. So
Mhm.
I mean, at least you're not going event.
Yeah.
At least you're understanding that the event is not the seed,
Hmm.
right? It's our relationship to the event that causes the experience. Like when I just looked at the post-it note, I thought of just like little origami, and wasn't that funny? And I left these things. I didn't tell anybody who did them. I just had these hearts all over. And And it makes me crack up. Like there's a whole experience in this one little and imagine, I think you guys believe there's a little bit of potential that we actually do have a relationship with absolutely everything. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Imagine how many times our mind is thinking something based on what we see and look at in a day. Wow. Here's an example, another example, other than the rocks. I got yelled at when I was younger.
Yeah.
There's an event.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was a horrible person. There was my relationship to that yelling. Every time someone yelled, it reinforced that I was a horrible person in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody yells, my experience, no matter what they're saying, goes to, I'm a horrible person. Whew. Like people yell all the time. So now every time somebody raises their voice, my mind hits to see that. I told you, look at it again. It's going again. It's not even considering what the words are. It's just trying to be right in its first conclusion that had a potential to be different than that. But that was how my relationship to it was. So what happens when we change that relationship? Here's the empowerment part. There we go. What if we change the relationship? The seed of experience. Would something different grow? We may not
Ah, good
control it,
one.
but we can change how we relate to what happens. So here's the amended example. I got yelled at when I was younger. I thought my mom was not cool when she yelled. There's the relationship. Every time someone yelled, it reminded me of my mom. And my experience was not that I was weird.
It wasn't.
That was weird.
Right? So the story that I put onto an event
Mhm.
was the relationship, created the relationship that I have with that event. I'm trying to keep this with examples that are outside of us. But there are unlimited examples inside of us where somebody yells and I reinforce I'm not okay. I look at myself and I'm not a size 2 and I berate myself. There are many, many experiences. Imagine how many we have on the outside of us. There are way more on the inside of us. So what happened if we started changing our relationship to those events and to those situations? When we begin to see our relationships clearly, we gain something meaningful. We gain choice. We see that I don't have to be in this cul-de-sac with this guy that I don't like living with. Maybe I do for today, maybe I do for the next week, maybe I do for the next year, but my mission is to change that story that I have to be here to a different relationship with this and get myself going into a different direction with this. And we can also soften our emotions, or we can harness them. We can help the emotions not control us. Now, by choosing to have a different relationship with something, if I have, what am I trying to think of? If I have an addiction to sun tanning and I go out into the sun and I get blisters all over me over and over again, then I have this relationship with this event that's creating an experience that's not positive. But I have to have it. I'm telling myself in my head, my relationship to the sun is I have to have it directly on my skin 1 hour a day. That's what I'm telling myself about this. And for some reason, I finally get to a point that says, what if I didn't have to have the sun directly on my skin for 1 hour a day? Just what if I didn't? What if that relationship were not the way I'm seeing it? What if I could go to the sun and wear long sleeves and a hat? Which is what I do now. You can see me in a river. I look awesome.
Dermatologist loves you.
But now I can be in the sun and not destroy myself. And so I start really feeling like the sun can nurture me, not harm me anymore. But I'm the one who made the choice to have a different relationship to it. Perspective, relationship, story. Those are in my choice. That's what I do have control over. You thinking something you want to share, Auntie?
No, I was just listening. Yeah, just relating to your story a little bit. Yeah.
So we can harness our emotions to ourself. We can see ourselves as a more understandable. Of course, I saw things that way, and now I can see things another way. And wow, that's pretty cool. And kind of when we start loving that part of ourself, we can start loving others a little bit more. We can start, now this is the compassion part. When we realize that we were suffering in our own story about the sun, then somebody else who's got a story, rather than us judging them like that is so ridiculous and they are ridiculous and they are this kind of instead of all that unnecessary, harmful judgment and thought, we can say, oh, look at that. They're just like me. They're believing a story that's not working for them. When they're ready, I hope they come to me. I'm going to open up this, I'm going to share a story with them about something that didn't work for me, but I damn well believed in for a really long time, and hope that that might help them out. Literally out of their own bad story or their own not useful story. We do have a choice. We noticed how we choose who to call based on what we need. And in the same way, we can begin to choose how we relate to any experience based on what would support us. I'm going to say something very direct. This is when we put our big person pants on.
Yep.
This is when we stop blaming everybody else.
Yep.
This is when we go, I could change my life. I see it. I feel it. I'm not doing it all tomorrow, but I'm willing to start walking that walk. I'm willing to start feeling what can be different. I got my big person pants on now. So there's this deeper possibility of, instead of being pulled by our reactions, when we begin to relate more intentionally, now it's not this thing happened, I reacted and it just happened to me. And No, 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 no. Hold on one second. Something happened. I felt the charge. I asked myself, what does this charge need? I nourished that charge through the right phone call, through something else to be in relationship with. A relationship with a glass of ice water made me feel so much better. A relationship with a good session of yoga felt make me feel so much better. There's a million choices we have to understand that charge and to not push it away and not react to it and to say, I'm listening. I'm listening to you. What do you need to be nourished? And in doing that, we shape our experience in a healthy way. The big question we asked already, is there anything we're not related to? The huge benefit of understanding that between us and everything else is a relationship, is a connection, is a story, is it challenges our ability to feel lonely ever again. Pretty cool. I love that part of this lesson. That bird is connected to me in some way. That tree is the feather, the Indian calendar, the Post-it note. They're all connected to me in some way. They're all holding me and I'm holding them. They're all part of this beautiful web. When our needs are nurtured, we become more steady. We become more patient, more present. In short, we become happier. I think I have to go stop sharing. The next slide was every moment is relationship.
Yeah. Being present.
Being present, trying to be here for what is here.
Mhm.
There's when we get really convinced that karma is a thing,
It is.
that cause and effect is a thing, then we start to go, oh, okay, what caused this moment to be like this?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I blame it on my prior life.
Yeah, the good one.
What did I do in that prior life?
Corona used to challenge me so much on karma, and he's like, it might not ripen in this life, it'll ripen in the next one. And you're just like, whatever, like
Not what I want to hear.
I'm gonna be nice tomorrow. I want it to ripen that same day.
Right, next lifetime.
However, you darn well feel it in this life.
Mm-hmm.
You darn well feel it in this life. That was cute. That was a great way for him to try to get me to have some patience. But when you say one life and another, you could mean who you are today versus who you are tomorrow.
Good point. Oh, wow. That's deep.
Mm-hmm. That is.
We're always reincarnating.
That's true.
We're always dynamically developing.
Well, we hope we are, right? Because that means that we're living and growing.
Whether we hope we are or not, we are.
Oh shit.
That's why I guess those choices are important, because we are doing something whether we like it or not. So we're either moving forward or moving backwards, we're staying the same. Right? Or something like that, right?
We're not staying the same.
We're never staying the same. That's right. It's always some sort of,
Yeah.
Illusion.
So when we understand relationships, when we understand choice, we can start really setting up this, if I want to go towards that, I need to stop planting rocks.
Yeah.
Right?
Seeds of doubt. No more. None of that.
No, seeds of doubt, no more.
None of that.
Only flowers. We're only planting flowers.
Only planting flowers. especially in our mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because as Robina has taught us, our words are servants of our mind.
Wow.
Our actions are servants of our mind. So if we plant the flowers in our mind, so that's why with Buddhism, you first refrain from negative action.
Mhm.
First thing you do is refrain. Then you plant and you plant and you plant. And then you do in a positive way. But first you refrain from the negative way. Then you plant, 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 plant until your instincts or your judgment or your choice ends up being more positive. Then you start to do on the positive side. That's junior school. Elementary school is refrain from everything negative. Body, speech, and mind. This does not have to be Buddhist. It's just so effective the way they outline it that I love to use that outline to go, it's like I felt it. I saw that a rock doesn't plant a flower.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to go ask myself, where am I planting rocks and expecting flowers?
Yeah,
That's
it's sort
the
of,
work.
yeah, it's almost like asking yourself to be accountable for your own thoughts or your own doing, right? So if we're being accountable for our actions or what we're doing, like we're like, well, I was thinking and doing this, so why did this happen? Well, that's cause and effect. Right? We know why, because when we're looking back and reviewing what we did, we're taking accountability for why those flowers did not grow.
Yes. Yes.
And then being like, okay, I take responsibility for that, but now I'm going to do it differently. And that's where I think
Yeah.
there's some really great uh, power in evolving and learning there, and being able to analyze that.
And for me, that's where self-compassion comes in.
Mm.
Mm.
That's where I say, wow, for a long time, I've been planting rocks and expecting flowers.
Mhm.
And I now understand that that is a totally normal human phenomena. That is not just me.
Yeah.
I am not weird because I was doing that. I am not mean because I was doing that. I am not abnormal because I was doing that.
Mhm.
You were hopeful
That was
that rock was a big seed.
ridiculous. But I was doing something that other people also do. It caused suffering I didn't even realize. Sometimes Karuna will say, we don't even know we're suffering,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? We're
Mhm.
doing it over and over and over and over, the same result, the same, why is this happening? Why is this happening? We're trying again, we're trying it stronger, we don't even realize that that is causing its own suffering. And then we start to wake up and go, oh, all right, all right. And now when I see somebody else in that situation, oh, I can have a lot of compassion for them.
Mhm.
And now that I see that wearing big person pants is a choice, I'm going to put mine on and I'm going to say, I really appreciate, little person, you trying as long as you did. You can come with me, but we're going to try a different
Mhm.
way this time.
Mhm.
And then check out your results. Do
Mhm.
the test yourself. Don't take my word for it.
Mhm. Yeah, would that be like considered like the observer of your own mind, like you're observing it and then seeing it? So you're kind of observing the fact that it's not working and going really questioning it and then seeing it from another like higher, like
Yes.
and then being like, oh, I get that now, kind of
Yes.
a thing.
I'm going to add another really deep level to this right now.
Mm-hmm.
In my compassionate inquiry class with Gabor Mate,
Mm-hmm.
and the book, The Presence Process, which is extremely uh, uh, emotional experiencing process called by Michael Brown. There is this suggestion that the observer in our mind is our child self,
Ooh,
and that it is watching our adult self speak and act.
Mhm.
And when our adult self speaks and acts in a responsible, caring, altruistic, kind way, it learns to trust the adult self. When that observer child self sees us trick ourselves with a thought, it's okay if I do this, nobody will see. That child self is watching.
Mm.
And that child self is going, oh man, I really wanted to believe in you in this moment.
Mm. And would that be also considered your higher self if it's the child self that's looking at maybe?
I don't know. I don't know that answer yet.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. That would be something really cool to sit with and think about.
Mm-hmm.
Like if my child self is watching my adult think and speak and act,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I agree. I think it's at
Yeah.
this point, I don't know if I think it's the higher self because it doesn't have the regulation that a higher being, like the higher being knows what's wrong and right. And I guess the child self would know what's wrong or right too, because the observant guy go, oh, that wasn't what you said. Like, no, I wanted to trust you. Right. So there must be some type of knowing. There must be some type of wisdom. Oh, my
Mm.
first counselor, she was awesome. She said, never underestimate the wisdom of a child. And when I taught class, we made t-shirts that said, never underestimate the wisdom of the child for the whole class.
Oh,
We had all of our names on the back of the class. It was awesome.
cool.
And so maybe you're onto something there, Marie.
Yeah, I'm not totally
I'm
sure.
just not at the point right now in my
Yeah.
learning that I can confirm that,
Uh-huh.
but it certainly seems viable.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
well, I
cool.
think as a child, you don't have all the filters,
Yeah,
so
well,
you're of a more pure essence.
Yes, for sure.
true.
More pure
That's,
essence.
yeah, very
For
true.
sure.
Yeah.
I have this belief that children are born innocent and needy and pure to teach us,
Absolutely.
not us to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
We have it really backwards. So many things we have backwards. You
That's
want
what I
to
was
know
gonna say.
my new real estate campaign is the house doesn't make you happy. You make the house happy.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good
Oh,
one.
that's good.
Yeah.
Like I haven't completely rewatched the other ones with you when we're not on film, but I have a whole ad campaign on how about we put this into a perspective that we can all listen to and go, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I've been seeing this the opposite and I don't even know why. But when I go like this, I go, oh.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Does
You
it
know
take,
what? One
well,
of them is like a security system protects the house, but love makes that house feel safe.
that's right.
right. The people in it are what make it feel safe, not the
People in
security
it are
system.
what makes it feel safe.
Yeah.
The kindness between, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, I mean, this is a really thoughtful class.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships.
Yeah.
So I want you to notice something. You two were brave enough to show up on a word that emotionally charged. That's awesome.
Yeah. What's awesome is that we trusted you enough,
Ha.
that we're going to go on this journey with you.
I hope to always hold you gently on it. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, on that, I'm going to forgive and dedicate if you don't mind. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something in this journey that felt like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that, or that was a little uncomfortable for me,
Mm-hmm.
please, I ask for your forgiveness. If you need support through it, if you need anything, please give me a call. If you're watching this online, please email me at ourmetaverse@gmail.com. if you feel like the way you related to it or the way that you brought something in was something that has a negative judgment around it, I ask you to offer yourself forgiveness, please.
Mm.
Are all learning.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come together to push through difficult subjects like relationships, we earn some serious merit, sisters and
Mm-hmm.
brothers.
Mm-hmm.
We earn merit for trying because we're coming here to learn how to be better people so that we can have a better something effect in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can not immediately, let's just allow it to go through us for a minute. Like, whew, check out that merit. Check out that merit. That merit feels good. Let it be like golden light that just fills up your whole body, right? And hold it for a second. And then let's generously offer it out to everybody who doesn't know they're suffering. Let's offer it out so that their suffering may end. May all sentient beings be free from suffering, and may all wars end immediately,
Mm-hmm.
especially mental wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all starts. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.